Do you take vitamins every day thinking that you are protecting your health? Do you believe that, because they are natural and recommended by so many people, they can only bring benefits? What if I told you that 2 of these vitamins, very common among the elderly, could be silently weakening your muscles, affecting your mobility and, even worse, putting your autonomy at risk? Well, what was supposed to help may be doing exactly the opposite. These vitamins are now on the shelves of millions of Brazilians, and almost no one suspects the devastating side effects they can cause, especially in the legs. The promise is more energy, stronger bones, and disease prevention, but the truth that no one talks about is that, in excess or used incorrectly, these substances can directly contribute to muscle weakness, constant cramps, a feeling of weakness when walking, and even frequent falls. And if you have already experienced any of these symptoms, perhaps the problem is not due to age or a sedentary lifestyle, as everyone tends to say. Perhaps the real culprit is the bottle of vitamins that you take with such faith every morning. Today I'm going to show you exactly what these 2 seemingly harmless vitamins are, but which have been scaring doctors and specialists due to their unregulated use among the elderly. I'm going to explain how they act on your body, what they cause when there's too much of them, and most importantly, how to use them correctly without compromising your health. And don't worry, I'm not here to scare you, but to warn you and most importantly to inform you, because no one deserves to depend on a walker, a cane, or even lose the freedom to walk alone just because they didn't receive clear guidance on something as simple as supplementation. And look, don't blame yourself if you're taking these vitamins thinking you're doing the right thing. The supplement industry sells health capsules, but rarely talks about the risks of taking them without guidance. And many doctors don't always explain in detail what happens when these substances accumulate in the body. The result? Thousands of elderly people feeling pain, weakness, and losing muscle mass, and without realizing that the problem could be coming from something they take every day with confidence. I'm going to tell you real stories of people who were experiencing repeated falls, constant leg pain and numbness in their feet, and only discovered the cause after a long time. Excess vitamin D, calcium, and other elements that, when not balanced, overload muscles, joints, and nerves. But before I reveal all of this, I want to ask you one thing. Stay with me until the end of this video, because this information can literally save your mobility. You'll understand how a simple decision can make all the difference between living with energy or suffering from unnecessary limitations. And take the opportunity to comment below. Do you take vitamins regularly? Have you ever felt any unexplained weakness in your legs? Or do you know someone who suffers from pain for no apparent reason? Write in the comments, "I want to know the truth about vitamins." This will show me that you are truly committed to your health. And it will also help this video reach more people who also need to hear this. Now pay attention, because the next part of this video will show you why almost no one talks about this problem, and why so many elderly people continue to suffer without knowing that the villain may be precisely in that pill they take, thinking it is the solution. And if everything you've heard so far has set off an alarm bell inside you, then it's because this information was made for you. That's why I really want to know your opinion. Comment below what you think so far, if you've already taken any of these vitamins, if you've ever felt any strange symptoms, or simply write, "Now I understand," so I know that this content makes sense to you. And look, if this video opened your eyes, if you learned something new, don't forget to leave your like. This really helps the channel to grow and mainly to spread this type of content that almost no one has the courage to talk about. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click the red button and activate the bell, because in the next videos, I'll continue to reveal truths that can make a huge difference to your health, especially if you're over 50. Don't put it off. Your health will thank you for this decision now. Let's keep going, because what comes next is even more important. Now that you understand the gravity of the issue and realize that something as simple as taking vitamins can hide serious consequences, it's time to delve into one of the most critical and, unfortunately, most ignored points of this topic. Let's talk about the invisible problem that is affecting thousands of elderly people every day. And the reason it is invisible is simple. Almost no one talks about it. Not even doctors explain it in detail. The packaging doesn't warn, and the commercials sell the image that all vitamins are beneficial, safe, essential, without exception. But the reality, especially for those over 60, is much more delicate than that. Let's start with an important fact. Weakness in the legs, frequent falls, and those persistent cramps that occur mainly at night are not necessarily the result of natural aging. Yes, it is true that the body changes over time, but there is a huge difference between healthy physiological aging and the symptoms that appear as a consequence of excess or unregulated consumption of certain supplements. Many elderly people can no longer climb stairs safely, have difficulty getting out of bed, or stumble more easily when walking. What no one is saying is that these signs can be directly linked to the accumulation of certain vitamins in the body. And here is the most dangerous point: the belief that if it's a vitamin, it's only good for you. This idea, which has been irresponsibly spread by the media, the industry, and even some health professionals, is causing thousands of people to take unnecessary supplements. It's as if it were impossible for there to be a side effect from something natural. And that's where the mistake lies. Because vitamins, when ingested without control, can turn into a true silent poison for your body, especially for your muscles, nerves, and of course your joints, which are directly responsible for your mobility, balance, and leg strength. Many people believe that taking calcium and vitamin D, for example, every day is always a good idea. After all, they are the most popular vitamins when it comes to bones and aging. However, no one explains that excess calcium can accumulate in inappropriate places, such as in the joints and blood vessels, causing stiffness, inflammation, and even poor circulation in the legs. Vitamin D, when consumed in high doses without real need, can overload the kidneys, affect the balance of minerals in the blood, and generate symptoms such as muscle pain, fatigue, and cramps. Exactly what many elderly people report. But it doesn't stop there. There are other vitamins and minerals that, when combined or poorly dosed, directly affect the health of the legs. And since the symptoms appear slowly and progressively, many people don't realize that they are creating a problem by trying to prevent another. People start taking a vitamin thinking that they are taking care of their health, but as time goes by, they start to feel more tired, less strong, have difficulty walking, and attribute all of this to advancing age, when in fact the body is giving clear signs of excess. And this excess is not always easy to detect in simple tests. The body accumulates it little by little, and when the problem sets in, it is not uncommon for the doctor not to directly relate it to the supplementation, especially if the patient does not mention that he or she is taking something regularly. So what happens? The elderly person is diagnosed with muscle weakness, is recommended to do physical therapy, and may even receive more supplements, but the real cause of the problem continues to be ignored. The lack of clear information is what fuels this cycle. Most seniors trust what they see on television, what they hear at the pharmacy, or what a younger relative recommends. And so thousands of people continue to take vitamins for years and years that they may not even need, or that should be adjusted, changed, or combined with other nutrients to avoid imbalance. The body, especially the body of the elderly, is sensitive. Small chemical changes have a big impact, and the leg muscles are one of the first to feel it. Science has already proven that there is a link between vitamin imbalances and the so-called sarcopenia, which is the accelerated loss of muscle mass related to age. But few people know that this condition can be aggravated by an excess of certain vitamins. The irony is that supplementation, instead of preventing, may be accelerating this process. And then the elderly person enters a cycle of fragility, where every day it seems more difficult to maintain mobility and independence. Something that could be avoided with a simple blood test, more precise guidance, or a small change in habits. And look, I know that all of this may be new to you. Maybe you're hearing for the first time that the supplement you take so confidently may be harming your leg strength. But that's exactly the goal of this video: to open your eyes, to bring you truthful, accessible, and practical information so that you have the power to consciously decide what goes into your body. No one needs to live limited, afraid of falling, with their legs shaking with every step. That can change, and it starts with knowledge. So, comment below if you've been taking any vitamins for over a year. Also mention if your legs feel weak, or if you've ever had an unexplained fall. And if you want to show that you're really into the subject, write, "I don't want this to ruin my legs." This helps me know that you're with me on this journey of prevention and self-care. And it also makes this content reach more people who also need to protect themselves. Now that you understand how invisible and silent the problem can be, the most important part of this video has arrived. the point where I reveal which two vitamins, although very popular and used by millions of elderly people every day, can literally be sapping the strength in your legs. And before I tell you which ones they are, I want you to understand that the intention here is not to demonize vitamins. They are essential for the proper functioning of our body. That is a fact. The problem lies in their indiscriminate use, without individual evaluation, without monitoring, and mainly, in the excessive consumption that has become routine for many people over the age of 50, 60, or 70. The first vitamin that needs your attention is vitamin D. Yes, that's it. The same one you see in every drugstore, TV commercial, and health blog. Vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption, strengthening bones, and even regulating the immune system. But what no one really explains to you is that, in doses above what your body really needs, it can become a real problem. When there is excess vitamin D circulating in your body, the body starts to absorb more calcium than it should. And this extra calcium doesn't necessarily go to the bones. It can be deposited in soft tissues such as muscles, tendons, joints, and even in the walls of blood vessels. The result is a dangerous combination: muscle stiffness, cramps, leg pain, loss of flexibility, and in many cases, a constant feeling of fatigue when moving. What's more, excess vitamin D can cause cellular dehydration, unbalancing electrolytes such as potassium and magnesium, which are crucial for proper muscle function. This explains why many people begin to feel tremors in their legs, weakness when walking, or even unexplained imbalances when standing for a long time. The second substance that deserves an urgent warning is calcium. This is the most popular mineral among the elderly, especially among women who want to prevent osteoporosis. But what few people know is that excess calcium, especially when it is not balanced with magnesium, vitamin K2, and other cofactors, can cause more harm than good. Excess calcium in the blood tends to accumulate where it shouldn't, in the joints causing pain and inflammation, in the arteries, hardening the vessels and reducing circulation in the extremities, and in the soft tissues, which directly interferes with mobility and muscle strength. Furthermore, the accumulation of calcium contributes to the stiffening of muscle fibers, which leads to a feeling of constant tension in the legs, as if they were always stiff, heavy, and ready to give way to any sudden movement. Many elderly people report that they can no longer climb stairs or walk for more than 5 minutes without feeling like their legs are failing. And the saddest thing is that most people don't even realize that the origin of this problem may be in those pills that they take religiously every morning, believing that they are doing the best for their health. And remember, it's not just the dose that matters, but the frequency, the length of time you use it, and most importantly, whether your body really needs that vitamin or mineral. Because when you take something that your body already has in sufficient levels, it becomes an excess that your body has to find a way to eliminate, and often it can't. And when it can't, the result is what we're talking about here: imbalance, muscle weakness, loss of leg function, and a much higher risk of falls. And don't be fooled into thinking that this only happens to people who overdo it. Even doses considered normal for long periods of time, without control, can cause these effects. It's as if the body accumulates a little bit each day until one day it can't take it anymore. And then you feel the direct impact on your gait, your balance, your confidence. And that's when the wrong diagnoses start. Rheumatism, fibromyalgia, neuropathy, when in fact it was just out of control supplementation. That's why it's so important to understand that balance is everything, and that supplementation should be something adjusted, monitored, and truly necessary. What you're doing to improve your health may be unintentionally putting you at risk, and that needs to change. Your body deserves respect, your future deserves attention, and your mobility is the most precious asset you can preserve in old age. So now that you know which two vitamins may be sapping your strength, comment below if you already take any of them. Write "I want to know the right dose" if you want me to make a video explaining exactly how to find out your real supplementation needs and how to adjust them safely. This will help me understand what else you want to see here on the channel. And together, we can build a space for real practical health without any fuss. So now that you know exactly which two vitamins in excess can be weakening your legs and silently harming your health, it's time to talk about what really matters: how to use these vitamins correctly without harming your body. Because, as I've already said, the problem isn't with the vitamin itself. The problem is in its unbridled, poorly guided use. based on the idea that everyone takes it, so I'll take it too. And this is the kind of thinking that has led many elderly people to develop muscle, joint, and circulatory problems without even knowing why. The first step to using any supplement safely is knowing whether your body actually needs it. And here, I need to be very straightforward with you. Feel tired is not a sign that you need vitamin D. Have a pain in the knees not mean that you are lacking calcium. And if you are over 60 and someone told you that it is normal to take these vitamins every day, be careful. This generic recommendation may be contributing to the accumulation of these substances in your body, and the price you pay is high. Loss of muscle strength, tingling in the legs, recurring cramps, and even loss of the ability to walk independently. To avoid this, you need to get tested. That's right. Simple blood tests, which any laboratory can perform, are the key to finding out whether you are deficient or not. The vitamin D level, for example, shows exactly how much is circulating in your blood. And contrary to what many people think, not everyone is deficient. In fact, some people take so many supplements that their levels are above the recommended level, and that is indeed dangerous. The same goes for calcium. It needs to be in balance with other minerals such as magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium. And only a test can tell you whether everything is okay or whether you are creating a problem without realizing it. In addition to exams, guidance from a health professional is essential. This is because there are dangerous combinations, which many people do thinking they are taking care of themselves. For example, taking vitamin D along with calcium and also consuming foods rich in calcium such as milk, cheese, and yogurt can make your body exceed the ideal amount very quickly. And what is left over will accumulate. And where does it accumulate? Precisely in the joints, arteries, and muscle tissue, causing the opposite effect to what you expect. Another common mistake is to think that if one capsule is good, 2 will be better. This is not true. Supplements are not candy, they are not juice, they are not innocent. They have an effect on your body. Therefore, follow their commended dose is essential. And more than that, understanding that the ideal dose varies from person to person. A 75-year-old man, sedentary, who lives indoors, may need a different dose than an active woman, who walks in the sun every day and already consumes calcium in her diet. In other words, there is no universal recipe. Your body has its own history, rhythm, and response, and it needs to be treated with that individuality. You also need to observe the signs from your body. Have you been feeling weaker in your legs even after exercising? Have you been having constant cramps at night? Do you feel muscle stiffness when you wake up? These are warning signs that should not be ignored. What's more, if you started taking a vitamin and noticed that you became thirstier, or had a constant need to urinate, or even had unregulated blood pressure, pay attention. These symptoms may be related to an excess of fat-soluble vitamins, such as D, that accumulate in the body and can interfere with several systems at the same time. Another very important point: do not use supplements indefinitely. The ideal is to take cycles, with breaks, and always under supervision. Taking vitamin D for 6 months in a row, for example, may be enough to correct a mild deficiency. After that, if the levels stabilize, there is no need to continue taking it. But what we see out there are people who buy bottles of 60, 90 capsules and keep repeating, month after month without any control. And then the risk increases, and a lot. And it's not just vitamin D and calcium that need attention. Zinc, magnesium, iron, and even vitamin B12 can also cause problems if used in excess. The human body is a delicate machine, and when one nutrient goes up too much, it can knock down another. It's like a scale. If you put weight on one side, you need to adjust the other. Otherwise, the imbalance appears. And often, it shows up in your legs, posture, breathing, sleep, and even your general mood. Therefore, the correct way to use any vitamin is with awareness, information, and above all, personalization. No fads, no so-and-so takes it and it works. The right question is, does my body need this right now? And if the answer is yes, it should be done with care, with the right dosage, with pauses, with monitoring. This is what taking care of your health is all about. This is what true prevention is all about. And it is this type of awareness that will keep you vital for longer, your mobility preserved, and your autonomy guaranteed. Now, if you already take any of these vitamins and want to know if you are doing everything right, comment below with the sentence, I want to use it the right way. And if you have already had tests and discovered that you did not need supplements or have experienced some strange symptom after starting to take them, share your experience too. Write, "This happened to me," in the comments. Your story can help other people open their eyes. Let's spread information and real health together. If you've stayed with me this far, it's because you're truly committed to your health, and I want to congratulate you for that. Few people are aware of seeking information before putting something in their body, and that already puts you ahead. So take advantage of this moment and get started. Subscribe to the channel, because here I bring sincere, direct content based on real prevention, especially for those who are over 50 and want to live with more energy, strength, and autonomy. And look, if this video helped you in any way, leave your like. This shows that this content made sense to you and helps YouTube deliver this video to more people who also need to know these truths. Now comment below with the phrase, "I want to protect my legs," so I know you stayed until the end and are ready to put this knowledge into practice. Your comment also helps to strengthen this community of people who take care of themselves in a conscious and natural way. And don't leave. Click now on next video that is appearing on your screen, because in it I'm going to show you the most dangerous foods that are causing inflammation in your muscles and sabotaging your health, and you didn't even know it. See you there.